Back in 1912, there was a man in Italy named Wilfrid Voynich. He was totally into old books, especially the really ancient and cool ones. One day, he strolled into a college and spotted a book sitting on a shelf. It had no cover, and the pages looked super old, like they were made of goat skin. Wilfrid, being the book lover, couldn't resist picking it up. He tried reading it, but the writing was like nothing he'd ever seen before. It was so strange that he couldn't make heads or tails of it, no matter how hard he tried. But Wilfrid was determined. He bought the book, thinking he'd figure it out eventually. Little did he know that book would become famous worldwide for being one of the most mysterious books ever. They say this book could tell the future, make you live forever, or solve the biggest mysteries. Wilfrid had stumbled upon a real-life mystery, and he was determined to crack it. The book he bought had about 240 pages, with over 1 million detailed pictures and 170,000 characters. Some pages had text, and others were filled with drawings. What secrets lay hidden within those pages? Let's find out together. The book was in a language that no one could understand, but looking at the pictures, one could get some idea about what was written in it. The book had pictures ranging from the solar system to the human body, and even pictures of plants, giving the impression that it contained something about all aspects like medical plants, the universe, and more. Voynich, although highly knowledgeable, having studied at the top universities in the world, understanding nearly 15 languages and capable of writing in 5, couldn't make sense of the book. Despite his efforts and all his knowledge, he couldn't understand what was written in the book, and neither could anyone around him. It seemed that understanding what was written in that strange book had become Voynich's life's purpose. He thought that perhaps this book was an important source for knowing the world's unsolved mysteries and human history. Taking this book, he went to different corners of the world to different code breakers, so that if there was any code written in this book, it could be broken. But breaking this code was beyond anyone's capability. Voynich did find a letter placed in that book with the date written as August 19th, 1666. This letter was written by a doctor named Jonas Marcus Mackey, who was giving this book to the philosopher of Rome, Athens, Kircher. The letter also mentioned that the book was written in a code language that no one had been able to understand so far. In the letter, the writer mentioned the book's writer as Roger Bacon. Roger Bacon was a famous philosopher and scientist of the 13th century. He was also a clergyman, meaning a member of the church. Besides being associated with the church, Bacon was also quite interested in science. At that time, there used to be a lot of conflict between the church people and scientists. Due to Bacon's scientific interest, he was also sent to jail. Keeping all this in mind, it was believed that perhaps Bacon had written this book in a code language to save himself from the people of the church. Now it was being assumed that who wrote this book, but no one was able to figure out how to crack its code. Understanding this book was becoming a mystery even for many great philosophers, apart from Voynich. It's said that even the famous American codebreaker William F. Friedman tried to unravel the mysteries of this book. Friedman, an army codebreaker who used computers for analysis, had cracked Japan's purple code during World War II. He had become the head of the Signals Intelligence Service and the chief codebreaker of the War Department. He was even considered one of the world's greatest code breakers. It's said that he spent 40 years of his life trying to decode the Voynich Manuscript, but like Voynich, he couldn't make much progress. In 1930, Voynich passed away, having spent his entire life and efforts in vain. After his death, the mysterious book remained with his wife for several years. But once again, the world's attention was drawn to this puzzle after Voynich's wife passed away. Code breakers from around the world set out to solve this mystery once more. As Voynich's book-selling business continued, one of his employees sold the book to a man named Hans P. Krauss, a renowned book collector. Krauss, in turn, donated the book to a library, and it eventually ended up in the hands of Yale University in America. The library scanned all its pages and made them available on the internet. With the book now accessible to everyone worldwide, people began to take an interest in it. Code breakers and those interested in mysterious things from around the world started experimenting to decode the book. Someone once thought of using carbon dating to determine the book's true age. Carbon dating is a scientific process used to determine the age of an object. The parchment on which the book was written was carbon dated. When the results were revealed, Voynich's analysis was proven wrong. Actually, it was found in carbon dating that the book is from the 15th century, but the writer of this book, Roger Bacon, lived from 1214 to 1294. So researchers began to suspect that Bacon did not write this book. While trying to estimate the writer of this book, another name came up, Leonardo da Vinci. Da Vinci was an artist who was famous for his paintings, including the world's most famous painting, the Mona Lisa. It was said that the code language used in the Voynich Manuscript was somewhat similar to da Vinci's other books. It was also said that in the manuscript, there is a structure like a clock at one place, showing 10 and 10:30, and under that picture, 1452 is also written in small letters. Researcher Aerith Sherwood, who tried to analyze this book for many years, says in his research paper that Leonardo da Vinci's birth time is the same as shown in the clock, and he was born in the same year as written below in small letters, i.e. in the year 1400. The carbon dating of this manuscript revealed that it was written in the late 15th century, so it was possible that da Vinci wrote this book when he was young. Some researchers believed that all these things could be just a coincidence, so it could not be said for sure that the author of this book is Leonardo da Vinci. This mystery remained a mystery, but people had not stopped trying to solve it. Some scientists thought that to solve this puzzle, the human brain might not be able to do it, so they could use machine intelligence. Let me tell you that this is after 2015. Yes, this puzzle had been solved for many years now. Now, to decode this book, artificial intelligence was used. Scientists created algorithms to decode this language. And now, by inputting the scanned image of this book into the computer and giving it the command to decode, the scientists hoped that this time they would be successful in understanding this book. With this hope, the required command was given to the computer. The hearts of the scientists standing nearby were beating very fast. They were thinking that maybe they would be successful in solving this mystery that has been unsolved for years, and would register their name in history by understanding this book. Not just scientists, but people all over the world were quite excited about this, that finally the meaning of the words written in this book could be understood. The computer was processing so much information, but at that moment, it showed an error. The computer could not process such complicated information and could not simplify it. Yes, but it was definitely known through AI and the computer's information that the book was written in Hebrew. With the help of this information provided by the computer, researchers could now get some help. Some researchers believed that the text in this book was written like an alphabet gram. Alphabet gram is a term used for words in which letters are arranged alphabetically. Keeping all these things in mind, researchers tried to read the book once again, but this time their effort was completely unsuccessful. After a lot of hard work, when the first sentence of the book was read this time, it seemed something like this in English. She maid recommended the priest man of the house and me and people. It was a big achievement for researchers to decode this sentence, but after reading this line, nothing special was known about the book. And after this sentence, reading the rest of the book was becoming very difficult for researchers. Meanwhile, another news started spreading in the media that a history teacher and a television writer named Nicholas Gibbs had decoded this book. According to a report of the Yale School of Medicine, Gibbs has described this book as a reference book for some remedies and a health manual for women. Gibbs's statement could have been a big revelation in this case, but the other researchers did not agree with Gibbs on this matter, and they believed that Gibbs had no solid evidence to prove his conclusion. According to a report in London's The Art newspaper, in 2020, a German Egyptologist, Raina Henning, had cracked the code of this book. Although she did not reveal anything more, she just said that it would take a long time to translate this book completely. Some people believe that perhaps this book is written in some alien's language, which is why no one is able to understand it. Some think that maybe the future of the world is written in it. That's why no one is able to understand it. Some people say that maybe someone crazy wrote something like this sometime, and now the whole world is going crazy trying to decode it. Anyway, till now, no one has been able to understand what is written in this Voynich manuscript, but people keep getting new judgments about it. What do you have to say about this? Do let us know in the comments section.